All right, Rabbi, so I want to just mention one small nakuda. We know, and this is often an overlooked part of the tefillah of Shachris of Shavuos, and that is something called Akdomos. And people often are like, oh no, what's happening? Put my head down, I'll relax for a few minutes. Wake me up with the 10 Commandments. Wake me up for that part, please, Rabbi. Okay? No, so I want to just spend a moment, if you don't mind, on understanding the Akdomos. It's a very important part of the tefillah. It's a piyut called the Akdomos. It was actually composed by Rabbi Meir ben Yitzchak, who lived in Germany in the 11th century. Now, he was the chazan of the town. It was actually the same town where the Heilige Rashi lived, and it was said that Rashi learned Torah from him. That means Rashi was his Talmud, so it means the composer, the editor, the writer of the Akdomos was Pashtus, Rashi's Rebbe. Okay? Now, the son of the composer of the Akdomos was actually killed al Kiddush Hashem during the Crusades. Reb Meir as well went up against the priests in their arguments against the Heilige Torah Kedosha, and Reb Meir himself was a fierce defender of the Torah Kedosha. Now, he had a very big love for his people. Now, these arguments basically eventually sapped him of his life, and he died right after one of the great arguments. He left over a beautiful piyut, which that piyut is a praise of the Rabbeinu Shalom. Praise for Torah, praise for Klal Yisrael, who were makabel the Torah. Now, it was accepted after he wrote it in pretty much every community in Klal Yisrael to say this most beautiful piyut on the Yontiv of Shavuos with a tune. Now, most people in Klal Yisrael do have different melodies and tunes for it, and it's brought down that every melody and every tune that each community has is Kadosh, is holy, and carries within it its own siyata d'shmaya. In the place where he was, the meaning was actually not accepted because the pain that they had, that ached over the loss of him, of the composer, that they loved so much, they just couldn't accept that piyut. And it reminded them of his death, which caused them tremendous sadness. There are 90 stanzas. The first 40 are written according to the Aleph base, and the remaining spell out the author's name and a bracha. It was composed in Aramaic, especially that only Klal Yisrael will be able to understand it, and those who sit and learn Torah would be able to fully understand it. And the words of the Chachama, which in those days, for those of you that have learned the Rabbeinu Bechaya, if you learned Chavis Halavavos, the Akdama talks about the same thing, was also spoken in Arabic. And each and every stanza ends with letters of the Tov Aleph, Ta, right? And that alludes to the praise of the Torah that has no end. As soon as one reaches the last letter of the Aleph base, the Tov, it immediately starts again with the first letter, and that's Aleph. So if you wonder when you read the Akdomas, everything is Ta, it's because Tov is the last letter of the Torah, and then after that is Aleph, because you have to start all over again. Now, in the generation, one second. In the generation of the Shamad, when Klal Yisrael had basically a sword over their neck, they kept their emunah in the Rabbeinu Shalom at all times, and they strengthened themselves with this piyut to have total emunah in the Rabbeinu Shalom, never to give up with their enemies, literally. And they were masakin this to say it on Shavuos in the middle of learning from the Torah in that case. So, Rabbi Sai, what we're going to say on Shavuos morning, Be'ezah Hashem, on Sunday morning, is Akdomos. Akdomos is very, very important. Again, most people don't know who it was written by, why it was written, and what it represents. Okay, we're talking about a Rebbe of Rashi, written as he was almost Moise Nefesh, his life for Torah, for Klal Yisrael, and he was writing the love that the Klal Yisrael have for Hashem, Hashem has for Klal Yisrael, and vice versa when it comes to Torah and everything else. And it represents the Torah that ends with Tov and continues, because Torah is endless. Rabbi said that is the stanza of Akdomos. Be'ez Hashem, we should be awake, we should say it with kavanah, because the tremendous siyata shema that it carries within it.